The US-Israeli war in Iran has completed 1 month, and Tehran not only keeps fighting back, it has deployed strategies to extract a heavy price from its enemies. They include the de facto blockade of the Strait of Hormuz and tit-for-tat action against US allies across West Asia. In the latest, another member of Iran's axis of resistance, the Yemen-based Houthi group, has joined the battle. Our next report explores the key components of Iran's asymmetric warfare strategy.
War has broken out all across West Asia, from the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait in the Red Sea. The war zone is expanding by the day. The US and Israel are unleashing their military might on Iran, but the Islamic Republic has launched an asymmetric warfare campaign to keep up to par. Iran's axis of resistance in West Asia is now completely in play. The trio of the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Popular Mobilization Forces, or PMF, in Iraq have made it a multi-front war. Hezbollah entered the war 2 days after the assassination of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. A large part of Israel's firepower is now engaged in Lebanon to fight Hezbollah. The two are exchanging strikes and counterstrikes on a daily basis. In order to defeat Hezbollah, Israel launched a ground and aerial offensive in southern Lebanon. Troops, tanks and jets are carrying out attacks against Hezbollah positions. Over 1,000 people have been killed, with 1 million others displaced, making Lebanon the deadliest war zone after Iran. Despite this, Hezbollah's chief, Naim Qassem, has refused to back down and vowed to continue the fight till the end. The newest entrant to the war is the Yemen-based Houthi group. The Houthis launched their first direct attack of this war on March 28th. Missiles and drones are now flying at Israel from both the north as well as the south.
With Allah's help and reliance upon Allah, the Yemeni armed forces carried out the second military operation in the Holy Jihad battle, with a barrage of cruise missiles and drones targeting several vital and military sites belonging to the Zionist enemy in southern occupied Palestine.
The entry of the Houthis could further endanger global trade. The group controls the part of Yemen that sits at the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The strait is a narrow water passage that connects the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean Sea via the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. If the Houthis block the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, it may cause further turmoil for global markets and oil prices. Iran's third major ally in West Asia is the Iraq-based PMF. The group has claimed responsibility for attacks on US interests in Iraq and across the region. The US has launched a series of attacks on PMF positions in Iraq to degrade the group's capabilities. The Pentagon has also told Iraq's government to rein in pro-Iran factions or face wider conflict. Meanwhile, Gaza-based Hamas has maintained its distance from the ongoing war. 2 years of war with Israel has left the Palestinian group significantly weakened. Iran's counterattack strategy against Israel and the US seems to be spread like a spider web. Multiple groups in different countries are carrying out attacks at different intervals. The US and Israel may have aerial superiority over Iran, but Tehran seems to be the one with regional dominance. It looks as though the armed factions that Iran has nurtured for decades are now coming to its defense. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
And for more on this, we're now being joined by Mr. James Marlowe. He's a foreign and defense analyst joining us live from London. James, it's good to see you and thank you very much for your time. President Trump is now facing pressure from home with the No Kings protests. He's adamant that the war continues. In your opinion, what will it take for Trump to say, I'm done and I'm winding down this war now?
Well, you never really know with Donald Trump. Hello, nice to see you again, Eric. I think he plays a very, very good game of poker. The objective of poker is not to allow the opposition to know what you're thinking, what you're holding in your hand, what you're likely to do. And therefore, that's one of the reasons why he changes his mind every 2 or 3 hours or every 24 hours. Now, some people around the world, journalists, politicians, pundits, commentators, they will say he's mentally incompetent. Others Other commentators, politicians, journalists, etc., will say that he's actually knows what he's doing, how he's doing it, and he's keeping the other side guessing all the time. And not even his allies really understand what he's up to. And I think that he is pretty angry right now for Iran for blocking the Strait of Hormuz at this point. Therefore, he's putting the pressure on Iran once again and announcing thousands of troops are heading that way. He wants his options open. There's no talk right now of a ground invasion. I don't think that's going to happen as we stand right now. But nevertheless, he wants the Iranians to feel the pressure. I think the problem could lie, Eric, with that there's no one leadership within the IRGC at this point. I believe, my assessment is that it might have split off into 2 or 3 different factions, very much supportive of each other, but doing their own thing. And at the same time, you also have the Besiege, which is the actual organization that killed so many demonstrators on the streets of Iran, the murderous regime of Iran, the Besiege. They're also doing their own thing because it does not have one central leadership. So this is like a wounded animal, a very dangerous animal in the corner, and it could do anything at this point. And that's what's got Donald Trump quite angry, and he wants to put the pressure on.
James, let's talk about that troop deployment, because many countries are not supporting the notion of troops on ground in Iran. In fact, many critics say this could be a trap. Iran has even mocked that idea by posting "Welcome to hell." If Trump goes ahead with this plan of troops on Iran's island and even soil, how detrimental could it turn out to be?
I think that, as the White House said, that the Pentagon is offering 5 or 6 different options for the president, the commander-in-chief, to make a decision on. He hasn't made a decision. He has not made a decision at this point, and therefore he wants to leave his options open, which I think is a good move. It's a fair move, and at the same time, of course, the US and Israel are still hitting major targets. I got word earlier this evening, a briefing from Israel, from a military source, that Israel has been, over the last 24 hours, attacking the factories which make the components which go into both the attack drones and also the ballistic missiles. So in other words, the ballistic missiles that are being fired mostly at Israel, but also Oman, which has had a real blow in the last 24 hours. So has Kuwait, so has Abu Dhabi in the UAE. And of course, we've seen what Iran has done. It's reached out. I mean, can you imagine them, a country with nuclear weapons, if this is what they've done just with their ballistic and cruise missiles? But nevertheless, Israel has hit very much their factories and also the motors that run the attack drones itself, I understand it. So Iran is firing these missiles at all these different places. It's clearly got a huge amount of supplies, but it has not got the ability to start to remanufacture them at this point. So eventually they're going to run out. Now, originally, the missiles that were heading towards Israel per day were actually in their hundreds. Now it's just several dozen per day, like 36 or 40 a day. And yes, it's true, the sirens have been going off Israel all day long, and also again yesterday as well, throughout the night in Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, in the south, in the north as well. Iran is working with Hezbollah. It's a coordinated alliance. But at the same time, the alarms are going off, and Iran is now trying to hit civilians. Why? Because that's their use of cluster submunitions, which of course is hitting up to a mile away. And that's why when the alarms go off, it's really important for everyone to go into those shelters. And you're seeing less videos right now of Israelis standing out on the streets, videoing this being shot down by the Arrow system, by Israel's interceptors, because you just can't take a chance like this. There has been casualties. It has been about maybe around a dozen people so far killed. There has been some injuries, but nevertheless, it's because Israel is telling its people, and the Home Command has a system which it alerts you 10 minutes before the actual missile strikes, that people have time to get into their shelters and to protect themselves.
Mr. James Marlow, it's good to see you. We'll have to end this discussion here. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you very much.